So when we're given 2 points, we can actually do a lot with that. The first thing we could do is we can graph right away if we want to. So 2, 5 is right here, and then 0, 1 is a y-intercept. It's right on the y-axis. And so I already have my line, and from there we can do slope. We have 2 ways of finding slope. We can either use rise over run, which means that I'm just going to count up 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the right 2. So that's positive 4, and going to the right is positive 2, which simplifies to 2. Or we can use the slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 of the ordered pairs that were provided. And so we get 1 minus 5 over 0 minus 2, which is negative 4 over negative 2, which also reduces to 2. So either way, the slope is 2. And a y-intercept always has an x of 0, an x-coordinate of 0. So I already know that the y-intercept is 1, but also because I graphed, we can just look and see where it's hitting the y-axis. That's what a y-intercept is. Okay, for slope-intercept form, that is y equals mx plus b. And a lot of people mix these up, but they're not too clever about how they come out with these names. Slope is m, and intercept is b. I should write this. Slope and intercept. So the slope and the y-intercept. We already know that the slope is 2, and that the b is 1. The y-intercept was 1. So then I just plug those two things in. So we have y equals 2x plus 1. Now standard form, you have to move the x to the other side. So I would be subtracting 2x from both sides. So I have negative 2x plus y equals 1. The form for standard form, the formula is ax plus by equals c. So meaning that the ax is in the front, really the mx, because it's the slope still. So that's in the front of the equation, but then also it can't be negative. So that means that I'm going to change all of these signs or multiply everything by a negative. So my actual standard form becomes 2x minus y equals negative 1. Okay, point slope form. To use point slope form, which is, let me find a new color, which is y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. The points are the y1 and the x1, and the slope is the m, so that's where the point slope form name comes from. So in order to do this one, we need a point and a slope. Well, we could pick whichever point we want. So say I pick the point 2, 5, and the slope of 2 is what we had. The other point slope form could have been the other point, 0, 1, but also still same slope of 2. And so we have to plug those in. So we get y minus, y1 is the 5, so y minus 5 equals 2 times x minus the x-coordinate of 2. And that's point slope. We can leave it just like that. And then same thing for the other point. Y minus 1 equals 2 times x minus 0. And you're actually going to get the same exact answer as what we have up above. The way that you can simplify this if you wanted to see is that you can distribute and isolate. So say I take the first equation, y minus 5 equals 2, and I distribute that 2. So 2x, and then minus 2 times 2 is 4. So it's distributing those. And then I can add 5 to both sides, and look at what I get. Y equals 2x plus 1. And the same thing would be true of the second equation. If I distribute, I get y minus 1 equals 2x plus 0. You don't even need to write that. And I add 1 to both sides, and I get y equals 2x plus 1. So you can really go in circles and pretty much check everything on these. And 2 more solutions would just be any other ordered pairs along the line. So if I continued the slope and went up to over 1, then I can find another point. Up to over 1, I kind of missed with how crooked my line is, but that gives me 2 other ordered pairs. So I have 3, 7, and then I have 4, 9. So this one that says rewrite the following in slope-intercept form, that's what I was just doing, where you can distribute. So I get y minus 2 equals 4x minus 20, and then add 2 to both sides. Oops, I meant to do that here. Add 2 to both sides. So we get y equals 4x minus 18. Okay, and then for standard form, you can't have x on the right-hand side. We need it to be in the front, so I'm going to subtract 5/4 x to move the whole thing over to the other side. So now I have negative 5/4 x plus y equals 3. Now, you can't have a negative in the front, but you also can't have a fraction. So what you're going to do is you're going to multiply everything by the negative and the denominator so that cancels in this case. Okay, but you have to do it to every term. So we end up with positive 5, because the negative times the negative is positive, and the 4 cancel with the denominator. And then negative 4 times y is negative 4y. And then negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. I forgot the x. Sorry, guys. So it's 5x minus 4y equals negative 12.